Started a little early today because we have a lot to do. We are really fortunate to have our district governor and his wife, Larry and Dolores Lassiter. And the official title is the district governor nominee for 17-18. So Doug Doris, here's your district governor. And other guests as well, and Tommy Rosser, obviously he comes.
I'm home.
Yeah, he's home. So I'd like to ask Reverend Tim Martin if he would lead us in an invocation, please.
All right, let us pray. Dear gracious and loving God, you bless us in so many ways. You give us so many gifts in this community and as an organization. Help us, O Lord, not to be held too tightly to those gifts, but to trust only in you. Bless us, O Lord, that we may be a blessing. Nourish us by this food, that we may serve to your glory. For we thank you for all these things, and we pray in Christ's name. Amen.
Amen. I want to follow up on the program from last week just a second. Chad, you did such a super job talking about the indoor paddle and something that's really unique in this town. And we talked about ways that we might be able to support it. And Stacy, as always, steps up. And Stacy, how are you doing in recruiting? Because I know you got a bunch.
18 as of 5 minutes ago.
18 will go on the
16th for
16th?
Sunset Cruise.
Okay.
And Terry's offered to videotape it for me.
Oh, no kidding. Well, you probably had Grace and I'm still trying to make sure that we're going to be in town for that. But that's wonderful. And you're 25 is the limit, right?
26, I believe.
26? Okay. What time is it for our philosopher? This is the time. And who's the philosopher?
Yogi.
We've been doing yogi moments at the beginning of every meeting because he had such profound things to say in his career, and we've had fun with him. But this one, I think, is really good. If you can't imitate him, don't copy him. And there's a long story that goes along with that when he was with the Mets, but I won't read it to you. It's fun. We go tradition, as the tradition is, we do our member moment right now. We had some real fun moments. I heard that the moment that I gave at the beginning of my session lasted a little longer than normal moments do. But anyway, Yvonne has the member moment for today. And I have to apologize. I mentioned this to Yvonne too. We always finish giving the person who gives the member moment M&Ms. I started out from my house at about 9 this morning and did a lot of traveling. And by the time I got here, my M&Ms were all congealed. So I promised Yvonne that I will tender M&Ms that are actually separated, and that I will give them to her later on, but return it to Yvonne for
They're supposed to melt in your mouth, not in your car.
That's good. The M&M should use that.
He also told me I could take as long as 20-25 minutes. Well, I don't know how many of you know my name. First name is Jane. I was one of 12 generations of Jane in my father's family, and I was one of 2 generations in my mother's family. My father was born, for some reason I'm nervous. My father was Irish and my mother was English. Being paralyzed at 18 months old, my father was persuaded in 1948 to enter the job market as a public servant. And today we know those people as politicians. He held the same position as county clerk for 14 consecutive sessions. I graduated from Oklahoma Public Schools. After public school, I went to business school, and then I went to a finishing school for girls. My first job In 1959, I was the secretary to the fashion coordinator in Tulsa, Oklahoma. Second job, my father called me home and said that they needed a good girl to be a secretary to a lawyer who was under contract to the Corps of Engineers developing the Eufaula Lake project. So I went. In 1960, I had already seen enough of the world in Oklahoma to know that I wanted more. So I joined the United States Army to see the world. I was assigned to Fort George G. Meade, Maryland, at the program market, of course, as a secretary. In 1963, I had been selected to make a training film for the Army. So they sent me TDY to Virginia, where I worked in and out of the Pentagon. While I was in the Army, I met a young man from Sanford, North Carolina. He was an American Indian named William Douglas Bullard. I married him 6 weeks later. He was discharged from the Army and then I was discharged from the Army because in those days, a woman could not be in the Army and be married. Today, they can have babies and go overseas. Anyhow, I was discharged from the United States Army and reassigned as a civil service personnel to Army Intelligence. In 1970, we took advantage of the GI Bill. My husband attended the University of Baltimore and graduated with his MBA. And then having 2 children, I had to wait and go to the community college, then transferring to Towson State University in Towson, Maryland. But because my husband's father died, we decided to come to North Carolina. And I ended up graduating from the University of North Carolina at Wilmington with a degree with a BA degree in elementary education. In 1975, when Doug's dad died. See, I told you I'm nervous. When Doug's dad died with a heart attack, then we moved to Jacksonville, where he became the CFO at the hospital there. In 1996, opportunity presented a chance for him to be closer to his family in Sanford. So we moved to Harnett County, where he liked to play lots of golf, and I had my first golf lesson. In 1997, my life changed with him having a heart attack on August the 18th, and that's when I lost him. So this year, I'm going to be a widow for about 19 years. Doug and I had shared married life for over 34 years, having 2 children, graduating them from UNC Chapel Hill and North Carolina State University. In 2000, I started volunteering. First, I went to the hospital, Central Carolina Hospital. And then that was the same year as the U.S. Open, so I went to the Chamber of Commerce and I offered my services there. Of course, they didn't turn me down. At the Chamber, Jimmy Ramdoff would talk about what was happening in Jonesboro Rotary, about this new project of polio eradication. My interest was aroused because you see, back in 1906, when my dad was born, he contacted the terrible thing called polio. So as that happened, then I was able to find out more about what they were doing to eradicate polio. David Spivey, who was the chairman of the board at that particular time, became my sponsor. Within the next couple of years, not only was I secretary and president-elect, but I was also the first president of Jonesboro Rotary, first woman president. Currently, I serve as a certified master gardener, having authored 2 cookbooks, attended 3 mission trips to Jamaica and Belize, visited Israel, Ireland, 7 countries in Europe, Hawaii, Alaska, and Nova Scotia. In Southern Pines, I attend Grace Church. There I serve as an altar minister, and I'm part of the pastoral care ministry. And so you want to know what my wow moments were. Where is, there you go, my wow moments. Yeah. In 1959, when I was the secretary in Tulsa to the fashion coordinator, I helped dress Miss Oklahoma, who was Anita Bryant, and she went on to place 3rd in Miss America pageant. My mother was sick for several years after my sister was born, and I became her little mother at 6 years old. My father is my hero because being paralyzed with polio at 18 months old, his mother died at 2. He didn't have anything to stop him. So what happened is I found out I got my enthusiasm from the Lord, but I got my grit from my dad and being Irish. So why did I join Rotary? I joined Rotary because I wanted to be a part of that fellowship that had meaning. And besides, Rotarians are great folks.
I didn't realize when we put this together how many close related issues we would have. We were talking about giving $10 to do your M&M moment. You give $10 to Polio Plus. Yvonne, I had no idea how close that is from your family and how much it means to you because of polio in your family. And we will, Larry and Tommy and Lloyd and Dolores, we have in our budget $1,000 that will come from our weekly raffle, proceeds of that, and $500 that will come from the $10 a week that we contribute to Polio Plus for our M&M moments. But as we grow, and Stacy gets us to 75 or 80 members, I don't know how about that number is probably going to grow as well, so it would entirely be possible for us to get to a couple $1,000 for polio for the coming year. And while we're talking finances, Marlon wasn't able to join us for our meeting ahead of this meeting, but I think this news needs to be shared with everybody. Lolan, could you give us where we stand in our bank account right now?
Absolutely. We have 2 accounts. We've got our main operating account, which is sitting at a balance of $23,460. And then we have Mike's Happiness Fund, which has another $1,731 in it.
You know, we're poised with the things that we're planning to do this year that will add significantly to the amount of money that Nolan just announced, to do a lot of great things for this community, and it takes money to be able to do that. But for all of us who've been in our club for years, Bob, everybody that's been connected with this, we've struggled to be between 10 and 15,000, you know, at this time of year, and to be in this shape so that we can do more for the community is just marvelous. Van, could we do some quick Sergeant Arms? I always get him with a mouth.
Thank you, President Larry. Okay, today we have a few visiting Rotarians. Probably don't need much introduction, but I'm going to do it anyway. From Sanford, our Assistant District Governor, Tommy Rosser. Almost got that tomato done. Okay, now I'm done. And of course, we have District Governor Larry Lassiter and his lovely wife, Dolores. Rotary Club. And of course, we've got, again, Nancy and John Pulowski from the Greater Utica Rotary Club. Let's give them a We also have Lloyd Navarro from the Sand Hills Rotary Club. And Lloyd, your title is?
District Governor nominee.
Just let's give him a big round. Okay, I don't see any other visitors. Do you have an announcement?
Yeah, so, okay. Saturday, we will be working at the new Habitat Restore, also known as the Old Piggly Wiggly. And it's open for more volunteers. Lunch is provided. The average age of volunteers out there is about 70. And I was out there last weekend swinging a sledgehammer. So I think if I can, and if, you know, older men are able to be out there working in the heat, I'm sure that many people in this room are more than capable of coming to help. Lunch is provided. There might even be a free t-shirt in it for you. So 8 a.m. at the Old Piggly Wiggly, it's lots of fun. And then also, can I do brag for a buck?
Sure.
Okay, well, I'm moving to a new office, and it's wonderful, and it has a chandelier, and
Oh, Lisa, you need a chandelier.
yeah, it's pretty fabulous. So anyone who wants to come by and have a cup of coffee, welcome to. I'll come give you the tour. And I also want to give a shout out to the best landlord that you can get, John Ramsberger, who is operating a wonderful office park on North Horner. And just wanted to give a shout out to him and thank him for just being a wonderful landlord, even though he did let my dad also move into another office. Now I'm gonna have to see him every day, but I'll forgive him for that. He did a great job, you know, sprucing the place up, and I know he would love to give people tours too. So anyway, that's my brag for a buck and shout out.
Lisa, thank you so much for sharing that. And where is your new office at?
It's next to Tom Snell's building. That's the official legal address. Is Tom Snell's building. The mailing address is 310 North Horner. But it's next to Sanford Real Estate, John's building.
Very good.
Yeah.
Very good. Thank you for sharing that with us.
Yes, around the corner from First Baptist Church. Yeah.
How about any other announcements to come before the club at this time? How about any bragging bucks? Yes, sir.
Yeah, I
What you got?
am exhausted. I'm about to get more exhausted because I've had 2 daughters, their husbands, and 3 grandchildren in my house for a week, and they're going to be around for another week, along with a few more relatives. So I'm enjoying it, but people are going to have to carry me around when this is done.
Thank you for sharing that with us. Any other
Yeah, I got two.
Yes.
I want to brag on the ball game on Saturday. We all had a lot of fun up at the Greensboro Grasshopper game. They won. It was touch and go there towards the end of the game, but they finally won it. And the other dollar is my Rotary exchange student from 1985 from Brazil brought his family back. Fabio has been to the club a couple of times. Actually, he's visited us about 5 times, I think, since I came to Sanford. But this time he brought his wife and his 2 children who speak, well, the kids don't speak any English. It doesn't make any difference. They're 6 and 2, and you know what they want. And his wife speaks a little English. We just had a marvelous time with them. So the exchange program is something for life. If you haven't been involved in it, I would love to get our club involved in it. I know it's more difficult to do now than it was when I was into it, but the relationships that you establish are just wonderful.
Thank you, Larry. I've got to brag. My daughter made the Dean's List again at Chapel. Tracy, you got something.
I do. It's still in the preliminary stages, but October 24th at Caroline and Trace, we're developing the Guns and Hoses golf tournament and dinner in appreciation for the servicemen and women in the police department and the fire department, EMS drivers, EMS service people, ambulance drivers, even the gatehouse security people at Carolina Trace. But how we're setting it up is the entry fee. We'll create a pot, and then the winner of Guns and or Hoses will choose the charity of their choice so they can pay it forward.
Nice. Very nice. Anything else come from the club at this time? Yes, Richard.
I got to brag a little bit longer. Made a quick trip to Minnesota to see the grandkids, up to high school reunion, then up to Salt Lake to national conference. But the brag is really, as I was in the air coming home, my son got his job. He got laid off 5 months ago, and he got a job, and that worries me.
Oh, that. Did you collect?
I'm working on it. We'll get there. We've got a
Okay.
pretty good little collection going today.
All right. In the interest of time, we've got to move on to, and let's have Tom Tommy Rotzer introduce our district governor.
Thank you, Larry. Good evening, fellow Rotarians. I'm kind of sad this is my last time I get to introduce you guys, right? But anyhow, it's been great going around with you. Larry Laster, I'm glad to have him and his lovely wife, Dolores, and a native of Randolph County and a graduate of Pfeiffer University. Larry now lives in Troy and with his wife, Dolores. They have 3 children and 6 grandchildren. Larry began his career in public accounting in 1969 in Greensboro with the national accounting firm of Haskins & Sales. After 2.5 years, he went to work with a local CPA firm in Asheboro. In 1975, he formed a partnership with 3 other CPAs and moved to Troy to open an office there. After a couple of years, he left the partnership to form his own firm. He is still practicing in Troy. He's an active member of Trinity United Methodist Church, the Methodist Men Group. He has served on the Finance Committee and has been a church treasurer for the past 16 years. He also served on the Falcon Board of Directors at Pfeiffer University for 15 years and is currently an active supporter of the university. Larry is also a member of the American Institute of Certified Public Accountants and the North Carolina Association of CPAs. Larry joined the Troy Rotary Club in 1981 and was a member for 4 years. Having moved to Asheboro for a short time, he joined the Asheboro Club in 1984 for 3 years. As we all know, business and kids took him away from Rotary for a while, happens to all of us, and he rejoined the Troy Club in 1997 and has been very active, involved since. A multiple Paul Harris Fellow, a Paul Harris Society member, a major donor, and a benefactor. He has served as president of the Troy Club twice, and he was the Area 8 coordinator for the Group Study Exchange team from Australia in 2010, and the Rotary International President's Representative host for the 2010 District Conference. He was Assistant Governor for Area 8 for 3 years and served on the District Foundation Audit Committee for 3 years. Larry is very active in an area car club where he and Dolores enjoy fun and fellowship and occasional fun ride. He also enjoys family and occasional round of golf, right, Larry? Fellow Rotarians, Jonesboro Club, please rise and welcome Governor Larry Laster.
Good afternoon, my fellow Rotarians and guests. First, I want to thank you for what you do for your community and what you're doing to make this community and the world a better place to live, and to also make our District 7690 the best in the Rotary world. And it's my privilege, before I get into my remarks, to be able to present some Paul Harris Fellow Plus pins today. We all know what Paul Harris Fellow means. It means that either you or someone in your honor gave $1,000 to our Rotary Foundation to honor you, and you receive a nice pin. Well, we have some plus pins today, and as I call your name, if you will come up and just line up behind me so you get a group picture of all the recipients. We have a couple of +1 pins. Robert Carlson.
Richard.
Richard.
I'm sorry.
Oh, come on up, Richard.
Richard Carlson. My apologies. Charles Oldham. The others are +2, which means that you've reached a $3,000 giving level to our foundation. David Van.
Did you know you did that?
Jeffrey Moore.
Yeah, Jeff's away as well.
And Michael Martin.
Tim?
I'm sorry, this is the way the names are printed for Rotary International. I apologize.
It's okay, that's the way it is.
He didn't give me all the notes. Okay. We have another +2. John Ramsberger.
I'm going to take the picture.
Sorry. I had to get you designated. And last, and certainly not least, Larry, you're gonna have to put together.
That's good, that's good.
It's okay, it's video.
And this is a +6, folks.
Oh my God.
Yes, it's my honor to do this.
1, 2, 3, and bingo. Looks great. Is that your job description?
Thanks for allowing me to do that. It's always a pleasure to be able to present these type of awards. I'd like to say what a pleasure it is to be back with your club again. I have visited with you, and it's always a pleasure to be here. You're a club of about 55 members, and you've been serving your community for over 30 years. Been blessed with great leaders over that time, and still are, and have several that are still serving at the district level. Your merger with the San Lee Sunrise Club in 2014 made both clubs stronger. You serve your community in many, many ways. You should be especially proud of your Character Plus mentoring program in 3 elementary schools, support of the Salvation Army, participation in Stop Hunger Now, and many others. Your lead in the Mexico Water Global Grant Project is impressive. You certainly understand the value and the power of our Rotary Foundation, as just witnessed by the pins that were presented. Your club has given over $200,000 cumulative over the years to our foundation. And we all know that our foundation does great work. Well, Dolores and I had an opportunity to see firsthand just one of the many, many projects that our foundation is involved in around the world. We went to the International Convention last month in Brazil. It was in Sao Paulo. We went through Rio and spent a few days on the way. And when the Rio Club found out that we were coming, we were invited to come visit the school that our district was involved in helping build about 6 years ago. And the reason the school came about is there was a lady in one of the worst slum areas that you could ever imagine. We witnessed that firsthand. I could not describe it to you. The filth, the poverty, it was just amazing to see. And the reason, again, there was a lady there trying to teach these kids in the favela, as they call it, the slum. She did not have a building to teach the kids in, so she was trying to teach the kids under an overpass in this favela. Well, one day the kids were at lunchtime, they were out playing in the streets and making some noise, and the police came along and they actually shot and killed 20 of these kids for no apparent reason. The lady was trying to teach the kids, got in touch with the Rio Club and said, we need some help. We understand you do things like this. So they already had a relationship with the district in Southwest Virginia, which borders ours, and a club in Germany. Well, the district in Southwest Virginia at that time was not a Future Vision Club, which some of you remember that term, and we were. So we were asked to participate, and I'm glad we were. So our district, this district in Southwest Virginia, the Rio Club and a club in Germany went together and raised money and provided about $35,000 to them to build the school. So again, we were invited to go see the school. We really weren't sure what to expect. They came and picked us up at our hotel, and there were 2 cars. There was a district governor from Southwest Virginia and his wife were with us as well. And to even be able to enter this favela, you had to have a sticker on the windshield, or you could not even get into the area. If you went in without one, you were taking your life in your own hands. So we made our way in, and as we were on the way into the school building, we had to go down a long street, and it was piled with garbage and everything that you can imagine. And also, as we're on our way into the school, we passed several individuals that had weapons, some pistols, some automatic weapons, and they weren't police or military. So we got around to the school, and we really didn't know what to expect. But the school was such a treat. We went in, the school building was clean, the kids were being taught all the normal subjects, as well as English. They were servicing over 400 kids in the school building, 200 plus in the afternoon and 200 plus in the evening, in the morning, excuse me. They were also being fed 2 good meals a day, which is probably all the food that they had gotten that was worth anything all week. They also had to be taught how to use bathroom facilities and running water because they did not have it in their homes. So it was quite a treat to see these kids, and just one thing that our foundation was doing. It was almost lunchtime, we got ready to leave the school building. And the teacher said, okay kids, it's time to say your blessing. And they said their blessing in English. Of course, we all know Portuguese is our native language, which we don't understand, but it was neat to have them do that. So they got ready to say their blessing. They had their hands folded and were saying their blessing, except for one little kid, a little boy in the back, and he was peeping and make sure everything was okay, I guess. But he was cute, and so we got to see that, and it was such a treat to see just one of the many, many examples of what our Rotary Foundation does do around the world. And I want to say what an honor and how humbled I am to be serving as your district governor for 2015-16. Dolores and I have spent a lot of time, effort, energy, but we've had a great time and a lot of fun preparing for this role. And I certainly could not be doing it without her support. You know, many times we've heard a person speak, and some of you that are closer to my age probably remember this more than some of the younger ones, but usually when somebody got up to make a talk, they always said that they were raised on a farm. For what reason, I really don't know, but we've heard that quite often. Well, we did have a garden. We had some chickens and a pig or two, but I'm not sure that qualifies as a farm, but I was raised in a very rural area in Randolph County. Well, the Rotary International priorities for 2015-16 is to promote membership growth, enhance humanitarian service through our Rotary Foundation, strengthen our clubs through the family of Rotary, eradication of polio, online tool adoption, and to grow our Interact and Rotaract clubs. Well, our District 7690's goals mirror those of Rotary International. New members and retention of current members is a top priority. I would love to see our district lead the Rotary world in sustaining members and also to continue to grow our Paul Harris Society membership. Family of Rotary is again at the forefront of our district. We need to encourage family participation in all things Rotary. Collaboration with other clubs and other civic organizations makes a greater impact on our projects. And I also want to raise awareness for Alzheimer's disease and women's heart health. I personally have 2 sister-in-laws in Alzheimer's facilities now, and I suspect that each and every one of you, either directly or indirectly, have been touched by this dreaded disease. And on the polio front, thanks to each one of you, we really are closing in on ending polio. At the International Convention in St. Paul, I did go to a Rotary breakout session on polio to hear what our Rotary International leaders had to say about where we stand with polio. It was very informative. As we all know, as of last week, Nigeria passed the 1-year mark without a new case of wild polio, which is fantastic. And if we reach August 21st, the whole continent of Africa will have reached 1 year without a new case. And a representative, of course, that leaves Pakistan and Afghanistan. And a representative from Pakistan was there, and he said that their government has finally agreed to help in our fight against polio. And that is really, really good news. And what a legacy for Rotary when we do wipe the scourge of polio off the face of the earth. Our Rotary International President, Ravi Ravindran from Sri Lanka, issued a challenge to each of the incoming district governors, 535 of us around the world, to make a gift to our foundation and to also sponsor a new member before we attended the International Assembly this past January in San Diego. If you remember, Cookie Billy's class a couple of years ago was named First Class. Patrick East's class last year was called Best Class. Well, Robbie has named us World Class. And so I want to challenge each and every one of you to make that gift to our foundation and to also sponsor a new member during this Rotary year. And if we do that, we will indeed make this a world-class year. President Robbie's theme for 2015-16 is Be a Gift to the World. That is a great theme. He reminds us that we're on this earth for a short time and we really do need to make it count. Each and every one of us has a unique talent. And we have in Rotary the perfect vehicle to utilize those talents. It's up to each one of us to find a way to make a difference in our club, our community, and the world. We want to leave the world just a little bit better than when we came. And to paraphrase a quote from our past U.S. President, John Kennedy, ask not what Rotary can do for you, but ask what you can do for Rotary. And if we do this, we can indeed be a gift to the world. As we go through our 2015-16 Rotary year, we have a lot of work to do to accomplish our goals. As we pursue these goals, I want us to remember that a major part of our Rotary journey is fun and fellowship. And we need to keep that in mind in everything we do Rotary. And we can all come together to celebrate our goals and accomplishments as we gather for our district conference to be held at the Greenbrier, America's Resort, on April 22nd through the 24th of 2016. Just a little reminder. And I also want to remind each and every one of you that your district leadership team, Lloyd, Tommy, myself, and all of our district leaders are here to help you in any way we can and to be a resource for your club. As we all know, Paul Harris, the founder of Rotary back in 1905, was quite a visionary. Two of his quotes echo so clearly the challenges that Rotary faces in its quest to reach its destiny and its goals. He said, and I quote, "If Rotary is to realize its proper destiny, it must be evolutionary at all times and revolutionary on occasions." Again, if Rotary is to realize its proper destiny, it must be evolutionary at all times and revolutionary on occasions. And another one that I like is there is nothing so sacred in Rotary that it cannot be changed for things better. My final thought for you is my personal goal this year is I want every member of every club to feel like they matter and that they're important to their club. As our own Maya Angelou said, people forget what you said and they'll forget what you did, but they'll never forget how you make them feel. Thank you very much.
Many of us attended the installation for our district governor a month or so ago. And I've been to quite a number of them. And they can go on and on and on. But this one didn't. Because when Larry got up, he referred to a speech that Cliff Darkerman had given. And he's a longtime Rotarian, one of the best comedic speakers that I've ever heard. And so he gave this little talk, big talk. And then he went back to his wife and sat down, and he turned around to her and he said, "Well, how did I do?" And she said, "You missed several opportunities to sit down." and Larry said that at the very beginning, made his points of what he wanted us to do in the year, and sat down and got a standing ovation. So we appreciate the fact that we got home at a reasonable time. And we also want to recognize you and Dolores, and I'd like to start with Yvonne. Yvonne, could you come up and support the program that we're doing for recipes?
Dolores, I want to be able to show you that we love recipes. Therefore, I'm giving you one of my books.
Thank you
And
so much.
thank you for coming. Thank you.
Did you bring any recipes today?
No.
We'll collect collect them and send them on?
You can send them by email, you'll get.
Okay.
Everyone's gonna get an email.
We will do that. And David, could you make a presentation too?
Goodness, looks like Christmas over there.
You know, as we said earlier meeting, that we are having our barbecue.
Yes.
As we know, on the 12th of September. I'll give you and your wife 2 tickets to join us, or if you can't, then pass it to someone who will enjoy it. We'd love to have you here if you can make it.
Schedule all out.
I appreciate it. And Dolores, do you want the 6 or 10 tickets to sell?
Thank you.
We have several posters you can post down your radar.
We will.
And I have toured your CUSC building with you too, so I want to.
Yes, yeah, you did, and you know the great work the COC does. Thank you for coming. Now, we just debated for a long, long time what we were going to do for you for a gift. We wanted something that was quite personal. And you probably heard in the introduction that he loves classic cars, Porsche in particular. We're not going to buy him a Porsche. Sorry. But, and I talked to him earlier in the week, and I said, how are you doing with the cars? Are you going to drive one over? He said, they haven't been out of the garage in about a year because of all of the meetings he's had to attend for Rotary. He's had to overlook the cars. Well, could you open these? We don't want you to miss your cars too much. So in a Porsche bag,
All right.
you will find, first of all, go ahead, show them. This apparently is treasured by Porsche owners. It's the classic motor oil.
Thank you so much.
Yeah. And this is really cool because just this last week, they came out with a limited edition coffee cup. So if you can't drive, you can drink. And we made sure that they're microwavable because I said, you know, because they have those real fancy ones with the gold around it. You can't wash them and you can't microwave them. So Dolores, the two of you can enjoy.
Thank you.
Well, and here, this has to go home with you. Who's going to do the raffle?
$23 to the winner. We'll let G.I. Jane do all the tickets. 8025. 8025. Congratulations.
And with that, can we ask Bob, can you lead us in the four-way test? And
Hey, Larry, before we go, I'm going to stand at the door and give everybody some tickets to sell.
Okay.
I've got them in increments of 6. Well, you gave me a list for people for 10 or 15, and I left that. So
Well,
I'm not sure.
let's do it next week. You can do it next week. Yeah, okay.
Only test these we think, say, or do first.
Is it the truth? Is it fair to all concerned? Will it build goodwill and better friendships? Will it be beneficial to all concerned? I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
We thank Nancy and John for coming again, and we want you to stay here for the winter. And we thank all our district representatives too. Meeting adjourned.